Okay, so today's the day that I'm going to try and convince you that Demon Hunters are going to be absolutely crazy and nearly, if not the best melee class in 7.1.5 for PvP Arena specifically. So what do I mean by that? Like, what does best melee entail? And I think that best melee, in my opinion, and my own words at least, is based on win percentage, so like actually winning the game, and also like melee and the design for melee classes are pretty much around doing a lot of damage. So if you think of Arms Warrior, if you think of Frost Death Knight, if you think of Feral Druid, like all these classes do a lot of damage and they also disrupt enemy teams through interrupts or stuns or whatever it is, right? So we're going to talk about Demon Hunters. Right now, Demon Hunters are in a position where they're inconsistent, but they do a lot of damage anyways, and actually, in my opinion, are one of the most underrated classes in the game in terms of PvP. Demon Hunters offer a few things. They offer a lot of AoE damage, pretty much every ability like Fell Rush, Eye Beam, Bloodlet Throglaive, and like the dot damage, Fury of the Illidari, Blade Dance if you want to get into that. There's a lot of abilities that Demon Hunters do that do just a crazy amount of AoE damage. And not only that, but they actually have something called Mana Break. Okay, so Mana Break is an ability that right now does 10 damage. Basically, if I were to just walk up to something and press Mana Break, it would do 10 damage, which is like laughable, right? Like that's a little tickle. But how it works is that the lower mana you have in a PvP situation, the more damage Mana Break does. So if I have 0% mana, Mana Break is going to do upwards of 1 million damage, right? If that target has 0% mana. Because if they have 2 million health, and it scales based on how, like if you have, for every 2% of the mana missing, it does 1% of your maximum health. So if you have 100% mana missing, it's going to do 50% of your maximum health whenever you push this button. Okay, so I just wanted to define that for you guys, because this is a really big point, especially in Rated Battlegrounds and Arena right now, that Mana Break does a crazy amount of damage, and people really didn't play with this a whole lot because there wasn't a whole lot of people invested in Demon Hunters since they were nerfed so much in the last few patches, okay? So we got this out of the way. We're doing a lot of damage, kind of underrated. Mana Break is really good. But why is it that melee, specifically Demon Hunter melee, is going to be the best melee class of the next patch? So I want to bring you to a couple different things. This is actually going to be, real quick, just a proof of concept for the Mana Break. Like, as you can see, this Warlock over here is at 15% life. And I have Mana Break available. He's about 50% mana. I run over to him, and I actually just use Mana Break and kill him from 15% to 0 with this Mana Break ability hitting for 615,000. So, like, that works. All right, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. But what's really, really important is to pay attention to the patch notes. And if you're not doing this as a player and you're looking to improve your rating, or you're looking to find an alt or a main that helps you understand that, then this is like how you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to look at future patches and look at these patch notes, because this is what I'm doing and testing them on my own time. So as we look at these patch notes, I want to talk about something that I used to do on the beta. So with the beta servers, before Legion came out, there was a spec that Demon Hunters would play called the Burst spec. Like the Demon Hunter Burst spec. And I'm sure a lot of you Demon Hunters, especially if you watched my videos back then, you remember this, is that I played with Bajheera, and when I was playing with Bajheera, I was playing this Burst spec, and it was so good. It did so much damage in such a small amount of time. It killed people in under a second. I would get to Restoration Shamans, I would use all of my damage on this Burst spec, this like burst damage, all cooldowns invested, all in spec, and it would kill people so fast that it was nerfed into the ground. It was actually destroyed. The spec was no longer available for Demon Hunters because of how good it was. I'm not saying that I'm the reason it got nerfed, but I think I demonstrated very clearly that this spec was overpowered and could kill people without any types of counterplay at all. And then it did get nerfed coincidentally. So I'm not saying that I got it nerfed, but I think that I may have had some small role in that. And this spec overall was not available to Demon Hunters, and that's what I'm getting at, is that this spec was nerfed, so the Burst Demon Hunter spec was no longer available. But if you look at these patch notes, if you read these with me, you can see that Chaos Blades is actually getting a 3% buff, so it increases all damage by 8% all the way up to 11%, which is a big deal, because I'll explain that in a little bit. Even though it's 3%, it's a big deal. And First Blood is actually getting buffed again back to pretty much where it was before. So First Blood was like the tipping point as to why Demon Hunters could play this burst spec. Because when you would use Blade Dance, it would do upwards of like 600,000 to like 1 million damage by just pressing one button. So if I were to use this First Blood ability, or this first blood passive, and use my blade dance and like put that in with the chaos blades, which has 11% increased damage, and then my nemesis, which has 25% increased damage, up from 20%. This is also getting buffed, which are like all the key components of this burst back are basically getting buffed again. So they're getting brought back up into the power that it was in the beta. And not only that, guys, not only that, but Mana Break is being buffed a significant, huge amount as well. So not only do we have that burst spec available to us as Demon Hunters now, but also Mana Break is getting changed to where it no longer does this only like 10 damage. It does 10 chaos damage plus an amount based on the mana. It's actually getting buffed to where it does 20% of the target's maximum health and chaos damage baseline. So if I were to just walk up to a target in 7.1.5 as a Demon Hunter and press Mana Break, it would do 20% of their maximum health and chaos damage. Think about that. I just press one button, 20% of their health goes away, okay? And it can be used at any percentage. So if they're at 20% life, I could just press it and it would kill them. Think about that. Think about how crazy that is. But not only that, but Mana Break is also, it still does that scaling thing. So I can do upwards of 50% of someone's life if they're completely plus that 20% equaling 70% of a target's maximum health and damage just by pressing Mana Break based on their mana. So say we're a minute into the game, we've done a lot of damage to a Restoration Shaman, but we didn't kill him. We've got him at about 50% life. He's about 50% mana. I press Mana Break, I just kill him. Like whatever, I just actually kill him right there, because if somebody's at 50% mana and I press Mana Break on them, it's going to do about 45% or so like of their health, which is really crazy. And that in combination with the burst spec, pretty much in my opinion, will show that Mana Break is going to do an insane amount of damage on top of this burst spec. And I really, 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 really believe that Demon Hunters are going to go from like being that kind of good, kind of underrated class to being tier 1, to being like one of the best melees in the game. And I think that like with all of these buffs, if you were to play that with like, imagine yourself doing 200,000 DPS in an arena. Like that's a lot of damage. But imagine yourself having a teammate that's also doing 200,000 DPS in an arena, and you also have that Mana Break ability, and you also have cooldowns coming up. There's no way that you're not going to kill somebody. I can't see a day that I can't kill somebody with all of those abilities available to me. I really think that it's going to be doing a crazy amount of damage, and I want to share this with you guys because for all of you and your grandmas and your little 5-year-old brother that made a Demon Hunter right before Legion started because you thought it was really cool and you wanted to fly around and stuff, I'm sure that those alts are now on the back burner, but you might have gotten 110 with them. And if you're a serious arena player, you're looking to get higher rating, maybe you get that Gladiator title or that rank 1 title or like whatever your goals are, 2K. I think Demon Hunter is something you should be paying attention to right now. If you're looking to maybe invest into another character, another class, because the class you were playing isn't as fun as you enjoyed at the beginning of the expansion, right? So that's why I'm making this video. I want to inform you. I want to tell you what's coming up and give you an advantage, and that's something that you now have because you have followed my YouTube channel, and I appreciate you all. So this is something that I'm trying to like alert you to, because not only for you players out there, you can take advantage of this, but you can also get ready for that to come. You can play counter comps to Demon Hunters, like playing Destruction Warlock, Frost Mage, Restoration Shaman. That's a pretty big counter comp to Demon Hunters. Just doing things that like preparing yourself for the meta to change. I think Demon Hunters are going to be really relevant. I think they're going to be a really crazy DPS in this upcoming patch, and I want to inform you all of that. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give a like on this video if you enjoyed it, if you learned something, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like more videos like this. I'm going to be doing a couple of Demon Hunter guides and stuff over the next week just to kind of bring you all into the light. If you're new to Demon Hunters, I can kind of teach you a little bit, or like at least share my knowledge and my experiences with you all as I have learned in my own time. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.